My name is Ross Loofbourrow, and I'm an ADHD high-performance coach. I work with millennials, late 20s to about mid-40s, and I help them really take back control of their brain, help them begin to recognize over time that they're far from broken. They just need the right support, the right cheerleader, the right believers around them, the right strategies to start moving towards that extraordinary life. That's what I do.
And you're based out of Santa Cruz, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Santa Cruz, California.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're doing a whole month on radical acceptance of ADHD.
Nice.
So I want to ask you, what does radical acceptance mean to you
Great
in
question.
terms of ADHD?
Radical acceptance, as I see it right now, based on my learned experiences and where I'm at in life at this moment, radical acceptance with ADHD to me is unapologetically living with ADHD, not hiding it, not throwing it in people's faces, but living with it, living into it, like finding the ways that ADHD can help you create and experience
Life.
the way that your life actually should be.
Yeah.
Which, you're like, well, what's that? I mean, and that's a different conversation. But radical acceptance is it's when somebody doesn't understand ADHD. If you're entering radical acceptance, you're taking the time to learn and educate yourself so you feel empowered and confident. Because radical acceptance, it starts with you, and then immediately it's like, okay, well, now how do I respond to the world around me that is saying, what's wrong with you? Or I don't think ADHD is a thing, or right?
Yeah, a lot of judgment.
Yeah, and you have to be curious enough and humble enough to understand that that's the journey every ADHDer is on. There's getting the diagnosis,
Yeah.
and then there's what am I going to do about this? And I think the path to radical acceptance is learn.
Yeah. And that's what you help your clients with too, right? Is
Yes.
help them embrace
Yeah.
their ADHD. And
Yeah.
that's what Attention Difference is all about as well, is reframing, reclaiming the labels, unmasking ourselves,
Yeah.
and saying, we are ADHD. There's such a thing as,
Yeah.
like a lot of this, I'm a person with ADHD, or I was successful in spite of my ADHD. And we're like, no, you can't separate the person, your brain,
Yes.
from the condition, right? We are
Totally agree.
ADHD.
Yeah.
It's all of us.
Yeah.
And yes, in certain contexts, there's challenges.
Yeah.
And it's not to minimize that, but it's to say that with the right strategies, support, structures, tools, and the internal conception of ADHD, if we positively accept it and say, I have ADHD, I am an ADHDer, my brain functions differently, then we have a place to start, right?
Yes. Yeah, you have a path. You have a path to travel. I mean, I think that's one of the core anxiety-producing elements of life for anyone, neurodivergent or not, is what are you going to do when you grow up? Well, like we're all constantly being slammed with what's your plan? What direction are you going to head?
Yeah.
Where are you going to run? What's your goal? And having ADHD, it helps to give you that path that maybe was obscured before, and now it's illuminated, and you can start to run, stumble, like
And
maybe
arrive.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you find people like I find people like you, Aaron.
Yeah.
I find people along the way who we get each other,
Yeah.
and that allows both of us to radically accept ourselves and start to feel fully alive.
Yeah. And it all starts with that identity, right? If we skip over the identity piece,
Yes.
then
Yeah.
we're bypassing a very important aspect of growth. If we go right into goals, or what's the ideal job, or what are all these things I'm trying to achieve out here in the
Yes.
world, but we don't accept and understand ourselves fully for who we are, including our neurodiverse brains,
Preach.
then it's like we're running the race, and we're like chaining ourselves with the ball and chain.
Yes.
We're never
Yes.
gonna make it.
Yes.
So if we just throw off that chain and say, look, I am ADHD, this is me, and I'm going to do with what I am born to do with this brain and these capacities.
Right.
And I'm going to find the supports and the people around me that care about me, that recognize me, that see me for who I am, and support me, love me, and then I'm going to learn to love myself.
Yes. Gosh, like seriously, I just completely resonate with that.
All right. Well, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thanks,
and
man.
let's find a way to connect again outside the conference.
Would love that.